Yeah.
The organization is Student Vote. Do campaigns care about the first-time voters, student voters, Scott?
Yeah, they do, but they're unpersuaded because there's little evidence that they're going to vote in large numbers. I can tell you, the Liberal Party, you take a look at EcoSpol. I was having this discussion the other day with our friend David Hurley, and we were talking about it, and he's very distressed by the numbers for the party. And we're talking about that, and he's like, well, there's a further reason I'm distressed about it. He said, let's take a look at Ecos's numbers, right? What if we're sitting there at, 31%? He said, then I take a look at the segments of that, right? Our vote is overwhelmingly young, and those people are not going to come out to vote. If tradition is any indication, so you're going to have a low voter turnout, you're going to have an even lower voter turnout among those who say they're most likely to vote Liberal. So yeah, they care. If they could find a way to animate the vote, even the vote that claims to be there for the party, they'd be delighted. And there's a lot of discussion now when you go back and actually do the analysis on Obama as to whether or not, there was a large assumption that the youth came out, but did it really? And the schools, it looks like probably it was a little more marginal than people first
There certainly was a significant increase in registrations for Democrats. But Jamie, on the other side of that, is, the conservative vote skews old. We all know that. Is it actually in their best interest to keep students apathetic and not at the vote?
No, I don't think so. I think people that go into public life go into it for overwhelmingly, more than overwhelming, almost exclusively for the right reasons, to make this a better place. We may have a legitimate disagreement on what a better place is, but that's a fair thing for us to have in democracy. But they go to work to make it a better place. Of course they care, like you do, about the next generation. They see the importance of it. Here's where the conflict comes in. People who run campaigns have 30+ days, and they've got one job to do, which is to get one more vote than their opponent gets. That's their job, right? At the end of the day, everything else is nice to have. But unless they get more votes than the other woman gets, they're not going to win. And so if putting a lot of effort against young voters who don't show up doesn't make sense. One of the reasons you see more effort against some of the ethnic communities is their voting behavior has changed. Some of those communities didn't historically vote. And then within themselves,
or if they did, they voted Liberal.
Both. They voted Liberal, and some of them just didn't vote. So they saw that having that exercise their franchise could be a lever they could use in getting power. And we've got to get students, young people, to understand that if they want power, it's circular. If they want people to pay attention to them, they got to show up in numbers to vote, because then the next time people will pay attention to them.
Yeah, but here's the conundrum, folks. This is a complete failure of the political class in most of the Western democracies, including Canada, because you only have to trawl at the very surface of social media to see a huge level of social and potentially political engagement among the people on those websites. They're not politically disengaged, they're partisanly disengaged. And they're partisanly disengaged because the political parties have completely failed to find ways of speaking that touches them where they live. And I think it's a very serious problem for democracy, not to be too alarmist about it.
I've heard you call for the end of the party system.
I have indeed, and I've also called for compulsory voting. I think when you get to a situation where less than half the people exercise their franchise and they're disproportionately over 50 years of age, you've got a problem calling yourself a democracy.